We're at KLEVV ESSENCORE at Computex 2025, and right here behind me we have two AK mods that definitely look surreal. But that's not everything that we're going to talk about today at their booth. So we're going to go through their new Gen 5 SSDs, their new some refreshed models when we're talking about RAM modules and memory kits in general. So let's start with the custom builds. So as per usual, AKMod does an outstanding work, and as each year, we can see on their KLEVV booth, we can see that they have an outstanding mod examples, which of course are equipped with KLEVV memory sticks, and of course we have. Let me just do that a bit of a focus, and their SSD. Now the arrow is something that I'll explain a bit later, but what we have right here are the Urban V RGB right here. Then what we have right here is genuine G560, and you've seen the review on that SSD as well. But the arrow and the bow is something that kind of reminds you of the Urban V RGB. Now I'll explain that quite soon. The mods, you can check that out on AKMod's social media and everything all together. Now let's check it out. So Urban V RGB, this is the design. So as you remember, and if you ever pull the bow, it gets this type of arch, and the top bar, as you can see, it kind of creates the whole design of the arrow and everything all together. You can see the top part going right here. This is the whole design, and this is how they actually go and separate each of their products in terms of visual aspect, the RGB parts, and of course the memory chips and the SSDs all together. Now, right here we have four examples where they paired up with, for instance, here they paired up with ASRock regarding with the built-in CKD IC, and these are cross V RGB paired up with the cross C925 Gen 4x4. So this is something that I haven't reviewed yet. Hopefully there will be a chance to do that. But in general, they're presenting all of the information regarding the CPU-Z and everything. I'll do that in a review specifically. Then we go with low latency CL26 with cross V RGB, which is paired up on the Aorus motherboard. We're having here the X870E Aorus Elite Wi-Fi. This is also cross C930. This is Gen 4x4. So regarding that, we're going with a bit older Gen SSD, but still you can see that low latency CL26 is outstanding when we're talking about in general any DDR5 RAMs. But speaking of 6000 megahertz, this is outstanding as well. Then we have another challenge, KLEVV with Asus. We're going with genuine V RGB, which have a specific LED strip right here, and I'll show a close-up on the RAM sticks that are on a separated stand. These go up to 10,600 megahertz and paired up with the genuine G530, which is Gen 5x4. Now, this is a new SSD, and they have something different here, but I'll get to that part quite soon when I get to that stand as well. This is basically pushing the limits and unlocking some crazy speeds because, let's be honest, 10,600 megahertz on the RAMs. This is brilliant, and as you can see right here, everything in CPU-Z, how they work and what it does. And then we go with another challenge. We're having KLEVV and the MSI. We're talking here about huge memory sticks in terms of total 256 gigs of RAM, 64 times 4, which we're having non-RGB ones. These are Urban V Solid, and they actually work. It's quite strange on AMD. They actually work with a clock speed, as you can see right here, paired up with the G560. This is genuine G560, Gen 5x4. Interesting, quite interesting. I'm quite curious how this actually works without any blue screen, but apparently they managed to do it, and that's outstanding. Now, regarding their memory modules and what they said to me currently, they have basically same design. They have a new color with the bold V. Then we have the Urban V RGB, but you saw that in white, what I explained about the arrow part. And then we have the genuine V RGB. Now, as you can see, these are outstanding with the design because we have black and gold going throughout, and the gold design on top actually has the RGB lights. Then it loses the gold effect and becomes the RGB top, which is outstanding, of course. So you have two options. You either go with the gold design and turn off the RGB, which is definitely appealing. But if you want the RGB, you can turn it on. The gold kind of just disappears. Of course, we have the Urban V Solid, which has no RGB, as you can see on top. And that's also something interesting for you guys that aren't into RGB and similar stuff like that. Cross V RGB, this is the ROG certified edition. And basically, then we go with genuine G530, which is Gen 5 times 4 M.2 SSD. This one hasn't been on the review, but what we have here is graphene heatsinks, which are much thinner, and that same thing goes with the C910 and the C925G, which are both Gen 4 times 4 SSDs, but we have this type of graphene sticker. As I said, much thinner and helps with the heat dissipation. Quite curious about the G530 and how it performs. Unfortunately, I don't know what the chips are at the back, what controller and stuff like that, but hopefully there will be a chance to run, and the most important thing, to see the thermals. As we saw last year, paired up with AK mods, we have the Mark fabrications, Robot AI, paired up with some KLEVV products, which I will get to closer a bit. We're talking here about Urban V RGB, genuine G560 and Cross C930, but in general, check out the mod. These mods from these two guys look outstanding, and always a pleasure to see these guys work. Finally, their full portfolio we have from standard memory, non-RGB gaming OC memory, RGB gaming OC memory, of course. And finally, we have the SSD internal and portable from Gen 4 to Gen 5. All in all, that kind of sums it up at KLEVV ESSENCORE booth at Computex 2025. We've seen quite huge memory sticks in terms of capacity, placed in 64 times 4, which is always interesting to see on any type of platform using DDR5. Gen 5 SSDs, which I'm quite curious to see the thermals on those ones, because apart from the genuine G560, which has already passive heatsink on it, we're talking about graphene stickers, which usually go under the passive heatsink of the motherboard, which I would be quite interested to check out and to see the thermals, of course, the speeds and everything, and how it performs. In general, what we have also is two AK mods custom builds, as well as Mark fabrications, which are using their memory sticks and their SSDs in a more interesting way, because as you can see right here, we have an arrow that also goes in terms of Urban V RGB design, and altogether quite outstanding booth as per usual, with I would say a bit interesting part, giving you more interesting approach with custom builds from these two guys, and not to mention all of the boards that I did check out with ASRock, Gigabyte, MSI, and Asus, with different low latency, high speeds, high capacity, and everything all together. So guys, I'll link down all the reviews that I did so far, so you can check out each individual video separately, and of course, stay tuned, more to come.